All right, so welcome everybody. We have lovely Grace Hayes with us today, and thank you for being with us, Grace.
Yes, thanks for inviting me.
So I've asked Grace to join us today because we had a conversation not long ago, and I was really inspired by her story, by her experience with these oils that we have come to know and love, and I just thought it'd be really interesting to talk with her and have her share a little bit about her experience with these beautiful oils. So Grace is from, she grew up, first part of her life in Chile and then the rest of her adult life in DC. But now she's over here in Spain, in Sevilla, and she's a mother of two lovely boys. And Grace, I'd love for you to share with us a little bit about your experience with these oils and how you first came to them. How, what happened in your life to make you start using this amazing kind of form of healing?
Awesome. Okay, so I love telling people that I'm converted to natural solutions, because growing up, my mom was very into natural solutions, and yet I never saw them truly be effective. And through various experiences in my childhood, I solidified that belief that natural medicine or solutions was not effective, did not work very quickly, was not very powerful, and that it was much easier just to take a Tylenol or a paracetamol or an ibuprofen for a headache than to try something natural. And I'm very much a quick fix kind of a girl. That's, I think most of us are. Like, I don't want to feel pain. I don't want to feel discomfort. So I always wanted the easiest and the quickest solution. So natural was never an option. People would always suggest natural things, and I would never really pay attention to it. So our oldest son is now almost 11. And when he was 3 months old, it was more like a hay fever reaction, really bad allergies, but bad enough that they had to put him on steroids and inhalers to help his body recover from it since he was so small. And that just started a downhill progression. By the time he was a year old, he had already been on steroids like 3 or 4 times. And then he had his first asthma attack, full-blown asthma attack, when he was a year and a half. And from then, we were in the US at the time. We moved to Ireland. We lived in Ireland for 2.5 years. And during our time in Ireland, he was normally in the hospital every 2 weeks, and they would admit him for 2 or 3 days. They couldn't get his medication, his inhalers regulated and whatnot. So when they finally regulated his inhalers, we finally started to have, I felt like a little light at the end of the tunnel. My life wasn't so consumed with hospital stays and things like that. And I felt like our life was getting a little bit back to normal. So fast forward, and we're now in Spain several years later. Much better climate for him, for his little body. And all of a sudden, we're starting to see side effects from his medication. So he will fracture his bones very easily. Problems with his metabolism. His endocrine system was going crazy. His thyroid levels were elevated. And all of these were side effects of the medication he was on.
Yeah.
So, you start thinking, oh my goodness, like, he's only 8 years old and he's already having side effects. And it's not like he's on the strongest medication there is, though every year we would go in for his checkups, they would up his dosages and things like that. So he's not even on the strongest. He's not getting better. And yet we are already having serious side effects from these, from these medications. And so I think that is what started opening me up to natural solutions, but I was never going to switch on my own. My mentality was that if I was going to switch to natural, it was going to have to be through like a doctor overseeing it or whatnot. And normally that's not going to happen. Most of the time, unless doctors are educated in this area, most of the time they're not going to encourage you to take a severe asthmatic off of his medication, his preventative medication. So very interesting. He was around 8 years old when a friend of mine first told me about doTERRA essential oils. And she struggles a little bit with asthma. She's an adult and struggles a little bit with asthma. And so I was like, okay, so I purchased Breathe and On Guard from her. But she was new with the oils, had no idea how to use them except for the bottom of their feet. I would use way too much, and I would only use it at the moment when it was hopeless. Like there was no other thing to do, and I was about to take him to the hospital anyways. And so I never really saw that they were truly effective. And I still had that prejudice in my mind against natural things, And so I truly did not believe they were effective, and yet there was something that did draw me to them. But now looking back, I see that. At the moment, I didn't realize it. So I used them up quickly because I would use much more than just what needed to be used, and especially on his body and stuff. And but like I said, did not see a huge difference. So fast forward 2 years, and he is playing on a hammock, and he jumps on the hammock, and the hammock flips, and he dislocates his shoulder. So I take him to the emergency room, and they put him on all the medicine. They fix his shoulder, whatever, right? So as a result of this, I take him to a chiropractor friend of mine. I was currently in chiropractic treatment myself and had seen very good results with it. So I decided to take him there just to make sure that nothing else in his body was messed up. So after 4 sessions, chiropractic adjustments, he stopped taking his medicine on his own. And I didn't know it.
Wow.
So I went to look at his inhaler to see how many puffs he had left, to see if I needed to purchase it, how long I had before he needed his new inhaler. And it had the same as the prior month. So after giving out to him, right? How dare you be, you're so irresponsible with your health, the 10-year-old, right? Or he was 9, or be so irresponsible with your health. And then we realized, wait, so he's been off of all his medication for a whole month, and he has not been coughing at night. He has not had an asthma attack. And I truly thought the chiropractor had healed him. Like that was it. Like it's a miracle, right? So she's healed him. And so I kept taking him back quite regularly, and we didn't put him back on the medication. Like it was the first time in his life that we felt the courage to maybe explore something else. And on our own, And so, we went about 6 months with him not being on any medication, and he would get sick, and I would live in high stress because of course his lungs are the weakest thing in his body. So it immediately affected his lungs, and I didn't want to put him on the inhalers again. Like I knew that they were not good for him, even though I also knew that they were kind of saving his life. There's such this, it's like, okay, they're saving his life, but at the same time, it's like it's slowly killing him. It's saving his life at the moment. At the moment, it's the quick fix, but long term, it's going to destroy him. And so I started listening to all the grandmothers, who would give their advice for coughs, and I would just try everything. And it was during that time, so 6 months after he'd been off of his inhalers, that I met my upline.
Okay.
Well, she's now my upline, right? And I knew that she's an American, and her husband's a basketball player he was playing for the Sevilla team at the time. And so they were in Sevilla. And so I knew of her. I had never met her before, but I sent her an inbox, a message on Messenger, asking if she could, I didn't know how doTERRA worked, right? So asking if she could purchase some On Guard and some Breathe for me. Because I like I said, I felt drawn to them. Like I knew there had to be something good about them. I just didn't know how to use them. Yeah. And that's really what it was. So anyway, so she came over and she began teaching me how to create your own inhaler with his hands and how to apply it. And so we enrolled, and that December we enrolled. In February, he had a full-blown out attack. Crisis, like bad, his chest sinking in. He was at tennis. So I brought him home. I had no inhalers on me, no oils on me. So I brought him home with the thought, I'm his mom, so I know his body. I know when it's the moment to take him to the emergency room. I didn't feel like he was in danger at the time, even though it was a full-blown out asthma attack. So I got my Modern Essentials app out and just started doing my own thing. Put oils in the diffuser next to him, applied oils to his chest and to his back, and started him inhaling oils, regularly. And within an hour, I saw how he went from severe asthma attack to completely gone. And I didn't have anything to listen to his lungs, but there was no audible wheezing.
Yeah.
There was no accelerated breath. He wasn't coughing, and he felt fine. And I truly was shocked, because with his inhaler system, with his system that we would use, it would also take about an hour to get him under control, but it would never truly be under control. Every 4 hours, we would have to keep doing treatments. And with the type of attack that he had, we would have definitely ended up taking him to the hospital. Like, no question about it. And so what I saw more than anything was that not only did the essential oils work and work fast, because that was my thing, right? That natural medication does not work fast, but it worked better, because after an hour it was over and there was no follow-up treatment. He didn't have to. In fact, he went outside and ran and played, which is something that I would have never allowed him to do before, right? Because that just, accelerates his heart, gets his heartbeat racing and whatnot. And then he had none of the side effects from the inhalers, which is that accelerated heart rate or extreme exhaustion, because your heart has been beating so fast and then it just gives up, right? It just slows down. And so when we saw that, my husband and I we both said, if these oils are powerful enough to take care of this, what else can they do? Like, it's truly limitless.
Yeah.
So he has been off of inhalers. In July, it will be 2 years.
It's such a powerful story for me, because I feel like there are so many mums out there with the same, issue, in the same situation, and fearful to make that transition over to natural medicine. And it's a big step to take as a family, and you need to all be on board, because you have to believe it, and you have to help your child believe as well, because they're so used to taking another form of medicine. So for them, it's all about creating this sort of feeling of safety with this new treatment, and for yourselves as well.
I think that for him, for our son, it was the easiest, because he truly, and there were moments when I would be like, okay, we're going to use the inhaler. Like, after that, you still start to have doubts, or it's not working as quickly as you remember it working, or whatnot. And so you start to doubt. And so there were moments when I was like, okay, I'm going to grab the inhaler and then continue with the oils, and he would say, no, Mom, no, just the oils.
Wow.
So it was like, he had his powerful experience, and there was I could not convince him today to take his inhaler. It would truly be like have to be like a life or death situation for him, for me to be able to make him take it, because he truly was convinced. So now he carries his lavender and his breathe roller balls in his backpack to school, just like he would have carried his inhalers before.
Yeah.
He knows what to use, like he likes to use, and he has his own preference, and it's helpful because he's 10, he's almost 11, so he understands what his body needs already. But I think it's powerful because we're teaching him now at this age to listen to your body and then decide what does your body need at that moment. So if he starts wheezing, the wheezing that is the asthma, the bronchioles being tightened, he prefers to use lavender, to inhale lavender. Lavender seems to calm it much quicker. Yeah. If it's the coughing, the asthma coughing, airy cough, then he feels like the breathe works better. So he has both essential oils in his, both bottles in his backpack, and he knows what to use it and when, and he does, And what has been the most incredible thing through all of this has been seeing, we always say less is more.
Yeah.
Right? Less is more, which before I was like, use all the oils, use 10 drops on the bottom of each foot. No wonder it wasn't working. His body didn't know what to do with so much oil, But less is more, and using it over a consistent amount of time, you will see a huge impact. And that is what we've seen. Now he will start coughing or wheezing, and with inhaling once is normally enough to completely calm his body.
Wow.
So his body now responds much quicker to the essential oils than they did even at the beginning. It's almost like his body is like, oh, yep, know what this is, know exactly what to do with this.
Yeah.
Where before it's like, oh, wait, this is something new. And okay, this is something helpful. But now his body is like, oh, yep. And so now he has been over a year with no type of asthma attack at all. And normally he struggled with allergies, and which another product that we use with him is the Tri-Ease capsules.
Yeah.
Or when it's high allergy season. And yet this season he has been better than all of us, So it's just amazing to see how, he has had his own powerful experience, even as a young boy, and he understands, and as children know what's good for them.
Yeah. So what would you say to mothers or fathers and families who are in a similar situation to you and who are wanting to make that transition? Like, what advice would you give them?
I think there has to be a belief in the product and when you truly, and an experience, for me, it was the experience that gave me the confidence to truly just embrace this natural lifestyle, and we have completely embraced. None of us have taken medicine for, over a year. But, if it was in the moment and I knew that there was no belief in the product, okay, let's say it's a brand new mom or no belief in the product, I would give it a try. Like just trust the experiences that other people have had and the knowledge that, we have gained from this, and just take the plunge.
Yeah.
Because it is a powerful product. And the side effects are amazing for their little bodies, instead of, this is not destroying their bodies and killing them slowly like the other stuff truly is, I would just say take the plunge.
Yeah.
Like trust our experience, trust the powerful experiences that we have had until you can have your own.
Yeah.
But because of this, I am very passionate about educating.
Yeah.
Because I could have been using these essential oils years before, in that first experience that I had, but I did not have good education. Mm. And so I'm very passionate about educating people and walking people and giving people the tools they need and my time and my effort so they can truly grasp how to use these effectively, for their families.
So the oils that you would recommend specifically for asthma would be definitely Breathe. Mm-hmm. And Breathe is a mixture of eucalyptus and mint and cardamom, I think, rosemary. Yeah. They're all going to open up the respiratory system and calm that kind of constriction that you feel. Yeah. And lavender as well, you mentioned.
Yeah. So lavender is calming.
Yeah.
Right. So in that moment when the asthma attack or the restricted breathing starts, it is also along with that is coming anxiety.
Yeah.
So when the anxiety comes, that restricts more, which creates more anxiety, which restricts more. It's this vicious cycle. So lavender and frankincense both have anti-inflammatory, properties, which that's what it is, where there's inflammation, there's restriction, right? So lavender and frankincense both have anti-inflammatory and calming properties. So those two together are incredible, especially during the crisis, right?
And you would just inhale directly from the hands, those are in the chest?
I would do both. Yeah. So there's a couple things now. So yes, always inhaling first because that's going to get it in, right? Yeah. And I always like to tell people, so if we just put our hands over our nose and mouth, that is, yes, it's helping, right? Because we're breathing it in, but it's not as quick. What that does is it helps clear the nasal passages more than the lungs, right? Mm-hmm. But if we will make our own inhaler, right? So we make our own little inhaler, and with our mouth open, we breathe in as if it were an inhaler. And you can try it yourself at home. You actually feel it get to your lungs, where the other is opening all this.
Yeah.
When you do your own personal inhaler with the palm and then your fist, it truly gets to your lungs. And so I think that's much more effective.
So you put the oil, sorry to interrupt, but you put the oil on your hand and then you make a fist shape and you inhale through your mouth.
Yes.
Suck it in. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the other way, and when he had his first asthma attack, we just did the other way. I didn't know, right? The other way helps clear your nasal passages, but when you do the fist, it just gets to the lungs much quicker.
Right.
So lavender and frankincense have anti-inflammatory properties and are both very calming. So to the emotions, to the stress that the body is going through at that moment, it's going to help with that, which then allows the person to be calmer and to be able to focus more on their breathing, right? And then the breathe, like you said, just helps open up airways and is an incredible support for the lungs at that moment, and your bronchioles and all that. So those are the main, so lavender and breathe for sure, frankincense when there's a crisis, and then it depends on what provokes the asthma attack.
Yeah.
What provokes it. Now with our son, everything provokes it. So it could be exercise. Sometimes it's not. It could be nothing. He could just be breathing and have an asthma attack. It could be toxins in the air, like if there's high toxicity. It could be allergens, but sometimes it's not. So there's never one thing that it's like it's always during allergy season or it's always when he's running. And he does a lot of sports. He plays tennis and he swims and we try to do a lot of different things. But when allergy season starts, what I noticed was when he would start his night coughing. So right after we stopped, started with the oils, he started coughing at night, which his pulmonologist said represented him having low oxygen, because we need less oxygen when we sleep. And so he's not getting enough oxygen. And so he would start this night coughing, which was this incessant, like nonstop coughing. So I started him on Tri-Ease, which is the lavender, lemon, and peppermint, but in a capsule. Yeah. And he's young, so I only ever give him one. I think the dosage for an adult is 2, but I only ever give him 1. And the first time he took that night, there was no coughing.
Wow.
So it stopped it completely. And what that does, it helps calm because it has the lavender. The peppermint helps open everything up. And the lemon is helping to cleanse the body. And so the Tri-Ease for me, when he starts that, if I notice that allergies is what's provoking it, he's immediately on Tri-Ease. But I don't use it preventatively. I only use it as needed. So those would be the top 3, the Tri-Ease, the breathe, and the lavender that I would recommend. Yeah. And then there's, all kinds of others that are just incredible for, Melaleuca, if it's this cough that never goes away, Melaleuca is incredible because it's antibacterial, and cardamom is so great for the respiratory system. So there are definitely others, but if you had to pick 2 or 3, it would be those. It'd be the Tri-Ease, which is for, it's like a natural antihistamine, but so effective. And then the lavender and the breathe.
So that's amazing. Thank you. But so from what I'm hearing, you don't feel like you have to do anything preventatively anymore. It's more like in the moment, or are you doing preventative stuff as well to keep his kind of immune system supported?
Okay, so that's a great question, because when we first started, I was doing On Guard on the bottom of his feet every night, because it was true. His immune system, his body was very defeated, and after so many years of medication, that medicine is not helping their immune system either, and it actually represses it. And so, yes, we would do On Guard, as a nightly ritual. A lot of times he has his own diffuser in his room, and a lot of times On Guard would be in the diffuser as well as on him. And then we started him on the supplements.
Okay.
So the children's supplements, which is great because now in Europe we now have the PB Assist Junior, so he can now I feel like it's truly complete, right? Because we have the omega-3s and we have the vitamins and the minerals, and now we have the probiotics for children, which to me now we have that complete supplement. Everything he needs is in those 3 things. And when we started him on the supplements is when we truly saw a change in his health. He used to get colds and sick. If anybody was going to get sick, it was going to be him. And using that for 3 or 4 months, we saw a huge change in his health. So now there is no preventative. We use the supplements are preventative, and we truly feel like the supplements are the foundation for our whole family's health. Yeah. When we're doing the supplements, the oils work faster. The oils are more effective because our body is already strong and has what it needs, And so the supplements for sure. And then he has his own diffuser at night in his bedroom. And so if he's having issues with like sneezing or runny nose or something like that, then breathe and lavender are always going to be in the diffuser. If not, then he just always picks something, but he loves his diffuser. And so, you know, like last night he had Tear Shield in his diffuser because he loves the smell of the bug repellent, right? But it's great because it has lavender in there and cedarwood, and those are all great for respiratory health as well. But I think that that definitely helps him having his own diffuser and letting him pick which oils he uses. But one other thing I was going to say is that lavender and breathe, when you always, and I always apply essential oils to his body with coconut oil. I think with kids, it's a must to use carrier oils with your essential oils. But lavender and breathe on his chest with the carrier oil and his back also work wonders in just stopping the cough even more than just inhaling it in. But now we don't do anything preventative except for the vitamins. That's they're the basis for the foundation of all of our health, and then we treat as needed.
Yeah. Well, it's so incredible to hear this information. I just feel like if only we could share this with, you know, every family out there that's in the same situation, because we truly have something here that is so empowering and allows us to live healthy, you know, chemical-free lives.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. And as you say, like with the supplements, like both of us have just come back from convention where we had, you know, some incredible information come through about these new supplements. Mm-hmm. And I heard someone speaking actually not long ago on a call about coping with mental health, you know, managing mental health with the oils. But she as well also said it's so important to use the supplements because the supplements are the foundation of our health. So I lie like really wanting to participate in this call. Because when the oils go into our body, if we don't have the potassium there or the magnesium, or if we don't have those elements for the oils to work with, then they're not as efficient. So that's why diet is super important, and the supplements fill in all those gaps where our diet can't quite, you know, meet our needs. Mm-hmm. And then so when the oils go in, she was explaining that they're like military sergeants. They like come in there and they're like, right, you go potassium, you go and do this, you know, magnesium, you go and do that, calcium, you need to go there. Like, you know, the oils kind of wake up this innate ability that we have to heal ourselves. And they know how to like wake that up and shine a light on those areas of like darkness or dullness or, you know,
yes
within us.
And I also think it's very important to, at least within the home, create a toxic free environment.
Yeah,
it has to be, you know, I used to love candles. We got rid of all of our candles. Cleaners, you know, we got rid of all of those. And I'm so thankful for doTERRA, because doTERRA, I'm not a DIY kind of girl, you know. I'm not like a go create your own like body scrubs and your own cleaners, and I don't have time for that. And I'm never very confident that, you know, what I'm making is actually going to be effective, you know. So I'm so thankful for doTERRA that they truly provide us with everything we need to live a toxic free life. And at least in our home, I can provide an environment that is toxic free for him, which is so important when it comes to lungs. You know, your laundry detergent can cause asthma, irritation to the lungs. You know, your cleaners for sure. We know those, you know, your oven cleaner, you have to wear a mask because it is so powerful that it, like, you can't breathe, and I don't have problems breathing, you know? And so truly creating that toxic free environment, I think, is essential for everybody, because if our bodies are loaded down with toxins, then our bodies cannot function properly, you know? Yeah. And we're going to breathe it in. As soon as I walk outside, I'm going to be breathing in toxins. He goes to a school where they use chemical cleaners, but at least at home, it can be a safe place for our bodies, you know?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Grace, for sharing all of that. I don't know if there's anything else that you'd like to share in this moment, just in terms of maybe about something, you know, about a personal experience that you've had, or we've spoken a lot about your family and your son, but just before we go, if there's anything else that you'd like to share.
I would love to. So my biggest biggest change personally I've seen through the LLV supplements. So that's the Lifelong Vitality supplements. We have three that come in that pack, right? So we have our minerals and our vitamins, and then we have our omega-3s or our omega oils, which also have essential oils in there. And then we have the cellular, you know, focus, the complex that focuses on our cellular health. And I used to always be, I would say that I was like a melancholic personality, you know, kind of like very easily depressed and somber and things like that. And I would have these very extreme emotional highs and lows. Like I was never truly balanced. Just I was either extremely like happy and joyful and great, or I felt nothing, which that leads into depression, right? And so, and there was nothing that would trigger this. Like I could seriously be here talking to you and having like a great time, and then in an instant, just feel like this, like no inspiration, just boredom, total boredom, no motivation for life to do anything, you know, just these extreme highs and these extreme lows. And I just cut it out to, you know, it's my personality, it's how I was created to be, and that's it, you know. So we started taking the supplements, and I noticed immediately that my digestive system started working better, which is important because 90% of the serotonin in our body is produced in our gut. That controls the emotions, right? So I noticed immediately that my digestive system started working better. I noticed that I could wake up in the morning with more ease. I've always said that I'm not a morning person, but it was because it was so difficult for me to wake up. You know, it was such a hard thing to actually wake up and feel in a good mood, like with purpose, you know? And so I noticed that more energy, like being able to wake up and just be awake, like the alarm would go off and I'd wake up and it wasn't like, ooh, you know, like I'm exhausted, I don't want to get up. It was like, okay, like I can start my day. So more energy, better digestive function, and stable emotions, stable mood.
Wow.
Which was incredible for me, right? Because I just thought, oh, that's just how I am. But no, my body was missing key supplements, you know, and we try to eat very healthy. And yet even then, like my body was missing key supplements that it needed to control those emotions and that mood and whatnot. And being on the Lifelong Vitality, I just feel like I'm stable for the first time in my life. My emotions are stable. And before I would have always said, oh, it's a choice. Just choose to be happy. You know, it's just kind of is how I was raised. Like my parents were very kind of hard on us, right? Like just, it's a choice. Like just stop, you know, like stop feeling like that. and so I just had that mentality that you just choose, like just choose to be more positive and just choose to be, and that's fine. But it gets old and that's exhausting, you know, to always be making yourself, and in all reality, you're not, you're just faking it. You know, you get very good at faking it. And yet the Lifelong Vitality has just completely stabilized all of that. And then of course the oils themselves like work in conjunction with that. You know, they're an amazing pairing. So I truly think that the Lifelong Vitalities, the doTERRA supplements, doTERRA has done something incredible with their supplements, and having the supplements as a foundation of your health, then you put in the oils, and like you said, it's just like an incredible marriage. Something beautiful occurs within our bodies, and our bodies can do what they were truly designed to do in the first place.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm hearing more and more about these supplements, about how incredible they are. And I tend to do I do them sort of 3 times a year. Like I'll do kind of a blitz, you know, of a month, and just to kind of get my body back up. But I know that people are taking them every single month, you know.
Yeah, and I notice a difference when I'm not. For example, last month, there were other things that I wanted to purchase, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to hold off on the supplements for this month because I need to stock up on some other things. And by the 15th of the month, my husband says, I cannot live without these supplements. You have to order them. So instead of, we always order at the first of the month. So I placed another order, and I was feeling the exact same way. Again, I immediately felt that my mood was unstable, and that things weren't working properly, and that my energy levels just plummeted again. And we can't live without them.
Wow. Well, I mean, the great thing is that it's all completely natural. And, you know, I think we do have to take into account that we are exposed to huge levels of toxicity, you know, now in this modern age in a way that we weren't, you know, in the time of our grandfathers and ancestors. And so we do need more support. You know, we are needing more support with our health, and also mental health and emotional health because of all, you know, everything that's going on in the world.
Yes.
And certainly, I'm hearing more and more about how these supplements are helping to just stabilize that internal environment, so that whenever these kind of situations occur in life that are stressful or are potentially toxic, we're in a stronger place to deal with them. They don't kind of knock us back so strongly.
In every aspect, I think emotionally and physically. And when our emotional and physical state is where it should be, then our spiritual state can truly focus on what it needs to focus on, which is truly our whole health. You can't just focus on the emotional and not focus on the physical, because everything is connected. We are beings. We were created to be connected, and for everything to work in unity. So when our spiritual is off, or our emotional is off, or our physical is off, we are not whole. We are not working to our fullest potential as we should be.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you so much, Grace. It's been so lovely to speak with you. And it's this information is so important. I am truly astounded by the magic of these oils and the work that this company are doing to bring us the best oils around. I was astounded to hear at the convention that they reject 70% of all oils that come to them because they're not pure enough. So I really feel like we're being looked after with, divine hands.
Yeah, I agree. And I truly think the proof of this, because a lot of it can be said, but the proof is when we see it working in our own bodies.
Yeah.
In our own lives. That is the proof. The fact that something natural can be powerful, can work effectively and fast. It is because of the care that this company is taking to truly provide us with the best of the best that is out there in everything they do, whether it's their spa products or their essential oils or their supplements. They are always looking for the best way to improve what they already have, which I think is amazing, because what they already have is great, and yet they're improving it, and just the care that they take to provide us with high quality, powerful, and yet it's natural, which is what I was always looking for, is what truly changed my mind. Natural can work. Natural can be effective, can be powerful. Natural can be consistent. You just have to have the right product.
Yeah.
And I think you can find the right product in doTERRA.
Yeah. That's great. Well, Sevilla, lucky to have you. You're running classes regularly in Sevilla, I imagine, no?
Yeah. So regular classes, regular one-on-ones, and just truly focusing on educating people. And I think that's what's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
We give out samples. I don't want to say waste. An outsider could look in and say, you're wasting your money. Like, you're not making a whole lot of money with all the samples you're giving out. But in all reality, our philosophy is it's not about us, it's about others. And we're here not to serve ourselves and our own good, but to truly serve others. And the only way people are going to experience this is by using it.
Yeah.
So we love giving out samples, and we give out samples like nobody's business. So,
and so if people wanted to attend a class in your area, do you have a webpage or a Facebook page or?
Yeah. So especially if they're in Spain, Marea Alta is a great Facebook group to be a part of, right? Because a lot of bigger events are posted on there. We're having our post-tour, our summer tour, here doTERRA is coming to Sevilla as well as Madrid. I know that. And that's going to be on June 2nd, as well as an Aroma Touch Technique on June 3rd. That's a training. But Marea Alta is a great place. And then you can find us at Cuidados Naturales for Spanish, right? That's not a group that I started, but kind of was asked to take over. So we post things in there. But then my personal group is Go Essentials.
Okay.
And we have our own Facebook page for that too. So you can find us in a lot of different places.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for doing this amazing work. It really is, a true service to our brothers and sisters and our family around the world. And really grateful to have had this conversation with you. And I hope, if there are mums out there or dads out there who are wanting to make this transition and need more information, that, we're here, just get in touch with us and I can pass you over, Grace's details. And
for sure,
certainly a wealth of information.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me to talk. I'm very passionate about this.
Yeah.
I think I told you it's hard to get me to stop talking about it, But yeah, thanks for inviting me on and for letting me share our story with you.
Thank you, Grace.